Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss a topic called the classes and the objects and how we are using this particular classes and the objects in the Python programming language. So this topic belongs to module 4. So in general, before going in deep how these classes and the objects can be used in the Python programming language or how we can use to write the program. Okay, generally you should know what is the meaning of the class and then the object. Okay, in general we say a class is nothing but a blueprint or a template in which it contains many instances. So these instances can be referred to as objects. Okay, so we say a class is nothing but a template or the blueprint, okay, in which it contains many objects. So we can say an object is an instance of that particular class. Okay, for example, before going to example, so we say object is a physical entity, that means something which exists in the real time or the real world. So hence we say an object is a real time or the physical entity, whereas the class is logical entity. Okay, since we can say object belongs to that particular class. For example, say we have a class called, name of the class is car, and it can contain so many attributes or the object. What does the car class can contain, what objects the car class can contain? So it can contain so many parts of the car, okay, like wheels, steering, doors, seats. So this can be considered as the instances of that particular classes. So this is the general meaning of the classes and the objects. Okay, so now, so in the previous chapters or the previous module, we have discussed about how to write the functions using the Python program and how we organize the code using those particular functions, which is already built in. That means we already have the built-in types which is there in the Python library, and we are directly calling them, and then we are try to organize the data and write the code. Okay, so now what we are going to learn here is an object-oriented programming in which the user will be writing the type. Okay, that means the user will be writing, that is called as a user defined types or the programmer defined types, to organize both data and the code. So when you want to organize the code and the data, user will be writing the type or he will be defining the type. Okay, so that is how it can be used in this classes, how we can use the classes and the objects in this Python. Okay, so now we'll discuss in detail how exactly we can use the classes and the objects in the Python. Okay, first we'll know what is this programmer defined types and how to write the user defined types or the programmer defined. Make sure this programmer defined types is also called as the user defined types. Okay, so now in general we know we have used many Python's built-in types. So now we are going to define a new type. How we can define, for example, say we want to create a user defined type that is called point. Okay, that represents the point in two dimensional. So what does this point do? It represents something, right? It is representing two dimensional space. So in general, when it comes to mathematical notation, we say points are often written in the parenthesis with the comma separating the coordinates. How? Look at this example. We have 2 points, it is separated by the comma. Inside the parenthesis you will be writing coordinates of that particular point, okay, which represents the origins, x and the y, which represent the point x, and units to the right and y units up from the origin. Okay, so that is how we can write in the mathematical notation. Whereas when it comes to Python, there are several ways we can represent the points. How we can represent? Okay, here we have the three ways we can represent the points in the Pythons. One is we can store the coordinates separately in the two variables, that is x and y. Okay, in general you will be writing the coordinate values to two variables x and y, one value to x and one value to the y. The other way is we can store the coordinates as the elements in the list or tuples. Generally we have seen how we are storing the elements in the list or the tuples in the previous chapters. Now the another way is how we can create a new type to represent the points as the objects. That is, you can create a new programmer defined type to represent the points in the objects. Okay, so this is the another way. But when it comes to this third way of representing points, it can be more complicated than the other two, but it has advantages. Okay, so we'll see what can be the advantages of using this one. Okay, all right. So now Generally, how to write the programmer defined type. What is the class definition? What is the definition? How you can write that particular? So here we say a programmer defined type is also called as class. Okay. For example, now how you write the programmer defined type? Point. Okay. So look at this. This is how we can write the class definition. That is class point. Okay. So this is a programmer defined type. Name of the class is point, and what does it represent? This is called as the header, which indicates the new class, that is called the point, and this is the body of the document string, which represents the why this class is for, what is the necessity of this class. So what does it do? It represents a point in the two-dimensional place. And now you can define any variables and the methods inside the class definition. Now you can define, for x you will be assigning some value, that is say 3, and for y you will be assigning so we can represent the same in the object diagram. So you can write the point, the class name, and then this is blank. So initial the point argument will be blank, and then it contains variables. This is the object, and then it contains the values for x and the y. Okay, that is how we can write the object diagram. Okay, so now, so defining a class named point, it creates a class object. Once you have defined the point, you can see here we have defined the point. After defining this, what happens? It will create a class object. How you will verify that class object is created? When you try to execute this one, just print point, then it will show you class main dot point. Okay, that is how it creates the class object. Since the point is defined at the top level, its full name is main dot point. Okay, so the class object is like a factory for creating any objects. So if you want to create a point, you can call the point as a function. Okay, for example, you don't have any elements, you can call like this, blank is equals to point. You can, to create a point, you can call the point as the function. Okay, so here what does it do? A blank will return a return value is reference to a point object which will assign to blank. A return will be value will be assigned to blank variable. So this type of creating a new object is called instantiation, and then object is the instance of that particular class. So now what happens when you print an instance? The Python will tell you what class it belongs to and where it is stored in the memory. Here you can see the prefix here 0x, that means the following number is hexadecimal format. So here every object is an instance of some class, so object and the instance are interchangeable. Okay, so that is about the programmer defined types. And the next topic is attributes. Okay, in general we say attribute is nothing but a characteristics or the features of any object. So what does the characteristics of that particular object, what attributes it can contain. Okay, in the similar way, for the point also we'll be having so many attributes. For example, say x and the y is the attribute, and we'll be assigning the values to that particular attributes. So now how we can assign the values to the instance using dot notation. For example, say my instance is blank here. This syntax is similar for selecting the variable from the module such as mat.py. In this case, though we are assigning the values to named elements on object, these elements are called as the attributes. Okay, so in general, how you pronounce attribute, you say, right, that is which is called as a verb. That is how you pronounce attribute. Okay, so now in the previous diagram, that is state diagram, we have seen the results of these assignment 3 and the 4. A state diagram shows an object, whereas attributes is called the object diagram. So you can see state diagram shows an object, where an attributes is called as the object diagram. Attributes is x and y, and this is the instance and this is the class name. Okay, so when you print this so we can say a variable blank, it refers to a point object which contains the two attributes. What are the two attributes? We have x and the y, and the values will be 3 and 4. So each attribute contains a floating point number. Okay, fine. So now you can also read the value by attribute using the same sign. When you want to read what is the value, how to print that particular value, the same syntax you can use here, that is blank dot y. When you print this one, it should give a return value. The value for blank dot y is stored here is 4, so it is giving you 4. In the similar way, another way we can do is you can store the value of blank dot x to the same variable, but there is no conflict between these two. These two are different, so it is going to give the value what is stored in this blank dot x. Okay, so that is the meaning. So what does it do? X blank dot x means it will go to the object blank and refers to get the value of the x. Okay, So make sure there is no conflict between the variable x and the variable x. So we can use the dot notation as part of any expression. How we can use the dot notation? In general, %g, %g, this can be considered as the precision that is for the floating point.